The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, real estate investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
Blessings, blessings. Welcome to Secure Your Energy, and also welcome to Lady Lashley's real estate page, okay? Welcome, welcome, guys. I'm here for another week of economic development seminars that I host every Wednesday at the Adams Street Library. We're coming down to our last 2 weeks. I want to say thank you for everyone who have joined, signed up, watched our previous videos, got some concepts in mind to help you empower yourself. That is the foundation of the information that I'm sharing today and all days. How to use this information that we're sharing and implement it as applied knowledge, okay? So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be getting back into assets versus liability, understanding the building blocks of financial health, as well as we're going to finish off with building a business that secure assets for investments, okay? So because we're in the second session of our economic development seminar, we are catering to community leaders. We talked about a lot of concepts related to community leadership, such as being innovative, community development, knowing that once as you grow your business, you're going to be a prime leader and become a bridge between yourself and the community as well as the governmental sector. We talked about acquiring funds, being creative when acquiring funds, also working together with other organizations, continue education. I could just name it. We talked about a lot of stuff. So today we're going to kind of wrap it up and bring it into the concept of assets and liability and understanding your financial health, as well as, like we said, move on into securing assets for investment, because as leaders, as well as any type of business owner, you have to acquire assets. When you acquire assets, it helps build your portfolio to put you in line for a different type of lending, okay? And also, when you do that, as far as building assets outside physical buildings and things like that, it stabilize your credibility. So let's get to it. And again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Lady Lashley. I appreciate you guys being here today. Shout out to the Adams Street Library for hosting us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. All right, so bear with me. Looking for my mouse. All right, assets versus liability, understanding the building blocks of financial health. We're going to just get into a few concepts, which is what are assets, what are liability, the relationship between assets and liability, and the net worth equation. Okay. And assets is not only physical, tangible properties, but assets as well. We talked about as your relationships, your connections, the people that you know in the community. So we're going to keep that in mind, as well as the education that you're providing to your staff and the people around you. It becomes an asset. All right, so what are assets? Assets are resources owned or controlled by an individual or business that have future economic value, okay? In simple terms, they are things that you possess that generate income, appreciate in value, increase in value, or be converted into cash, okay? So we're going to kind of get into that a little bit. Think of them as the building blocks of your financial wealth. And as I mentioned, Assets is not only physical, tangible items, it is the connections that you build. Types of assets. Okay, so types of assets can be categorized into various categories. Current assets. These are assets that can be easily converted into cash within a year. Example including cash savings accounts, checking accounts, money market funds. These are some of the things that you need to be connected to your business. So when you get a set of investment accounts, it is good to have these liquidable funds that is connected and utilized by the business as well. Okay, so these are assets that you want to keep in mind that you want to learn about not only for your personal financial health, but for your business health, because that's a whole entity. The business is a whole nother entity. You're establishing credit, you're establishing a portfolio, you're establishing a background, longevity for it. So next, another asset is cash, as I say, savings account, checking account, money market funds, accounts receivable. Okay, money owed to you by business customers or goods or services already provided. Okay, now you want to make sure that when you have these accounts, receivable accounts, that they are definitely disconnected from your personal accounts. We got to know how to do business to make sure that it's not connected to our personal accounts, unless we're getting paid. You know, and you have to pay yourself like a employee as well as a business owner. And sometimes as a business owner, we don't even get paid for the first couple of years, especially establishing a new business and then you acquire an employee. Their stability when it comes financially is very important, especially if they're your assembly line. Making sure that inventory, you got to be diverse with your inventory, especially highlighting what's going on right now in society. You know, being able to get things transported to you, to your organization, the things that you need. You're going to have to be diverse. So, raw materials, work in progress goods, and finished goods that you may plan to sell. So, you have to figure out what level that you're on and what's your needs and start planning ahead of time, especially for the changes. Not only changes in the weather, but as you know, our socioeconomic and political arena has been changing like the weather. So if it affects your business, you need to be aware. Short-term investment, stocks, bonds, and other investments that you plan to sell within a year or keep. Now, again, remember that you have your business established properly. This is some of the things that we talked about in our assets versus liability seminar, when we did the economic development seminar a couple of weeks ago for individuals. So with that goes to say, you want to have these short-term investments available, know what they are, and have them connected to your particular entity correctly. Okay, just in case you have to liquidate them, as well as they can build monies for you. So let's keep that in mind. And you want to make sure it's going to the right place because taxes, taxes is going to come up. And you want to make sure that your books are good. And if you do that as you going along throughout the year, you won't have to do so much when it comes to tax time. Also, I want you guys to be aware of the different instruments that you can use to hold your assets in. That's something we'll talk about on a later date, but we're going to kind of move into that because just not only personal people want to know that, you as a business owner want to be able to maneuver with those concepts in mind. All right, fixed assets. So we're going to get into this in the next couple of weeks. Property. No matter what business you're in, 90% of the business, I'm going to take that number down. Except 60% of the business may need a brick and mortar at this point. And because everything is done online, I don't know if it has devalued the brick and mortar, but I know that land and gold is actually real money. Okay, something that holds a strong longevity when it comes to the stability of it, and then when you liquidate it, you can liquidate it based on the market price, as well as you can use that asset to pass generational wealth and secure yourself when you need to within your business. You can acquire property and land, and maybe your business suffer a little bit, and you just have to sell one, a little piece of land. So these are fixed assets that you can invest in. I want you guys to know being diverse is very important. As I mentioned, a lot of times, I'm going to always bring it back to that Black Wall Street. A lot of the owners own multi-dimensional, how can I say, businesses. And it went from a laundromat, grocery store, post office, and it had that one owner. And you're like, okay, how did they put that all together? Because they were multifaceted and knew what the current needs of the community, and that's what your business should be based off. Current needs of the community, what you like to do, and how to expand based on what's going on outside as well. Okay, so as we talk about fixed assets, is land, buildings, equipment, land like property owned by the business. hmm Buildings, factories, office, and warehouse. You may find it important for you to aspire to own a warehouse because you have so much inventory that it costs a lot for you to store. That may put you in the storage business because you started an industry where you were distributing whatever product you had and you needed storage. Now you bought a piece of land and you did a self storage. This is how I think it's very important for us to expand off our business ideas. Never stop learning. Never stop. It's not easy, but I need you guys to stretch your brain because it's always growing, okay? Equipment, machinery, vehicles, computers. Those type of things you want to invest in, especially if you need it. You want to be an owner when you have these type of things. Lower your leasing abilities. You want to be able to get what you want on credit, but also you want to balance. So make sure that the business is owner of a lot of these things that you need, especially if you're into big distributing, transportation, and things like that. Now, intangible assets, okay? Very important. Intangible assets, these are assets that have no physical form but still holds economic value. Example including patents, trademarks, copyright, goodwill. Let's get into it. This is something that I did earlier in my business, and I, made sure also earlier in my son business that this was something we did before we was even making money. When you have a plan to win, you like, listen, we're going to do this and establish it properly. So patents, exclusive rights, um, um, generated for an a certain product, okay? It also holds you secure your assets. Trademarks, which include symbol designs, phrases, legal registration to represent a company or product. Also, when you do that, someone use your stuff, you can move on into copyrights, legal rights gained to the creator of the original work. So if someone wants to use your product and they're selling it, i.e., if you have a course or you have a brand, they will have to pay you, especially if they're using it fictitiously or fraudulently or without your permission. So these are the intangible assets that you set up at the beginning just in case, especially if you know that you're going to work hard and diligently for your business. Okay, goodwill. Intangible. That's the relationships, y'all. Goodwill, the value of a company's reputation or brand. You want to be credible. You want to keep your word. You want to deliver what you said you're going to deliver. You want to deliver on time. That's why we have to be really good with logistics. Sometimes it'll take you a whole year before some people actually launch their products because they want to have everything. They have even down to the box. Some people take it that route, or they just continue to work through as they launch their product and make sure that they continue to hit every corner. So make sure that you have goodwill, and that highlights you being prepared for your customers. You're having good relationship with other business owners that may help or not even help your business. Like I said, it is building relationships because as a community leader, you in your business, your industry, whatever it is within your community, you're going to be the bridge between your community and their needs. Eventually, if you keep growing, you're going to be the bridge between your community and its political body as well. When you get into volunteering and everything that we talked about, it literally like just kind of forces you in right into it if you're doing things right. Okay. All right. Thank you for being here again. If you're watching, please hit the like button. So, financial assets again, we talked about the stocks, the bonds, the mutual funds. We're not going to revisit that again. These are some of the things that you want to know about, as well as not only secure it for yourself, but secure it for your employees. Coming up with creative, comprehensive packages. I know the economy is a little rough, but you want to kind of like make sure you prepare bonds the bonds that you'll have will help you put you in a better borrowing position or a better legal position um, to basically protect you if something happens, depending on what your industry. So learn about this. and they don't cost a lot. It's just like insurance. Some bonds are used as insurance, insurance purposes. So you want to know about that and if that applies to your business. Continue on at examples of assets in personal finance. Example, your home, especially as a sole proprietorship, a person who owns their property. I know a lot of people believe, like when you set up your LLC, that it creates a total division between yourself and your property, but you must be careful. If you have your property in your name and you create some type of liability with your company, these assets can be touched, especially it depends on the state law. So please be aware. Your home is an asset, your car, investment, stock, bonds account, savings accounts, again, checking accounts, retirement accounts. Especially as a business owner, guys, I need you guys to highlight retirement accounts, 401k, IRAs, because you are not working for anyone. You have to plan for your retirement. This is something that I noticed that us as business owners, we don't really pay attention to because we're going through the rigmarole unless you get a big amount of income and you have a great financial advisor that brings that up to you. You know, you want to plan for your retirement. You want to plan for your business to be self-run. So you start that in the early stages. So when you get to the time that you pretty much over and you want to chill and this business is your primary income, you want to set it up in a way that is going to run itself or be handed into someone in trust that will be able to do it. And it don't always have to be family members or kids. You know, sometimes it's hard to get them to fall into your footsteps, but you always want to have a plan B because as business owners, it's hard for us to retire. So collectibles, arts, antiques, coins, these are other things. If you are that type of person, they become assets. So got some baseball cards, old things. My uncle used to collect baseball cards and other things from the 80s. And he probably still got it in coins, and they probably worth a lot of money. So those can be assets, okay? And real estate investments. That's something we're going to visit in the next 2 weeks, okay? So let's learn about what some liabilities. As business owner, I know it's simple. Assets versus liabilities, it's easy to know. No, some things you just don't figure out. And when I want to highlight, relationships can be liabilities. Didn't mean, okay. Relationships could be liability. Liabilities are obligations or debts you owe to others, physically or tangible or non-tangible. This represents claims against your assets. In essence, they are what you owe to creditors, suppliers, and other parties. Okay, a healthy financial picture involves managing your liabilities effectively. So, know what liabilities is in your industry, and relationships can be liabilities. So, you want to be aware of those relationships and understand too that things are different. Everybody approach things different, so you don't always want to. Oh, they don't do things like me. It's unconventional. I'm talking about liabilities that like people are doing things underhanded in their business, and eventually that they're going to get caught. You want to stay away from those type of things. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, liabilities such as that. Here we go. So other type of liabilities, current liabilities that are debts that are due within a year. These examples are account payable, salary payable, short-term loans, credit cards. You want to keep these at the minimum. Short-term loans and credit cards, especially at the beginning of you building your business, because you'll find that a lot of us will be so gung-ho to, run with the concept of growing our business and buy a lot of inventory, buy a lot of something, invest a lot of something, and we may not have the avenue to liquidate it properly or fastly. So you want to be careful with that, not using credit cards to do that as well, or short-term money. You want to make sure that you kind of build your business as the income come in as well, and phase money in. You want to phase money in, but you just be careful about it, okay? And short-term loans is kind of like a no-no at the beginning unless you really need it and you have some type of income that's going to pay. Because once you take that loan and you buy everything you need or you do everything you need, you have to pay that back. Real life story, okay? I don't talk because I just talk. Real life story, okay? Now, long-term liabilities, we want to keep that in mind. Mortgages, long-term loans, bonds payable. Those are more your long-term liabilities as business owners we need to keep in mind. But these are needed things at some point. Now, we're going to talk about alternative real estate investments in the next couple of weeks coming up. Shout out to our sponsors. We'll be coming up. We'll be not yet. Sorry. It'll be coming up in a second. Right once we finish this presentation, you'll learn a little bit more. We'll be talking about alternative real estate investments. So we're going to talk about the risk with long-term mortgages, loans, and things as well. We do have some other seminars that are on Eventbrite. If you do have our link, which will be in the description of Eventbrite, you can check out our page. We have some on-demand seminars as well. So you can learn about these concepts and the compare and contrast of it, especially dealing with the times. Okay, is it worth it? Okay, so we're gonna get into real estate because I can start talking about real estate, y'all. We're gonna do it right now. So, other examples of liability in personal finances. Again, we're just wrapping that up. Mortgage payment, car loan, student loan payment, credit card debt, personal loan, miscellaneous bills. Your goal is to keep car loans to a minimum, credit cards to a minimum, personal loans to a minimum. Medical bills is out of your hands sometimes, but you want to prepare having some type of insurance or ways that you can pay it, as well as student loans may be out of your hands depending on your career. Just add it into your long-term liabilities. And my best bet, some advice to you guys who are paying student loans, especially coming from the medical field, people like, hey, you go to be a doctor, you a nurse, you make a lot of money. But for the first 5, 6 years, sometimes the first decade, we paying off loans. So make sure that you pay more than a minimum balance and try to pay it both so you won't be paying for all those years. It's like a death note too. So be mindful of that, okay? And that's why we say be creative with your education. If we're in formal education like what I just talked about, you know, you have to do that. But some things, some markets you can actually learn outside, i.e., you don't need a real estate license to be a real estate investor. Okay? So the relationship between assets and liability is the net worth equation. Okay, and this is what we want to talk about, get a little technicality. Okay, so the relationship between assets and liability, that is your net worth equation. That's what you got left, and that's for out of everything. The relationship between assets and liability is crucial to determine your net worth. Net worth is calculated by subtracting your total liabilities from your assets. Sometimes you can't do that in math. Sometimes you just got to weigh the equation. As I talk about with relationships, type the companies you use, and those type of things. Net worth, total assets. So let me say this correctly. Total assets minus total liabilities equal your net worth. Again, a positive net worth indicates that your assets outweigh your liabilities. You're getting more out of the situation. So be wary of that, okay? Suggesting financial stability if that happens. A negative net worth, meaning your liabilities exceed your assets, like you're losing more with dealing with this particular situation, person in business, bank, you too much fees, things like that. You want to evaluate everything as assets versus liability, anything in your life, because it's going to help you determine what's going to be more fruitful for you. Okay. Now, we get into our last PowerPoint under this topic, understanding assets and liabilities. We're just going to wrap everything up, which is why understand assets and liabilities. Why? Financial planning is one of the things. It helps you with decision making. It helps you become credit worthiness if you plan correctly and you make good decisions, and business management. So financial planning, understanding your assets and liabilities help you create a realistic financial plan and how can I say business environment. So you need to kind of realistically plan and look around like what's going on. Set goals and track your progress. Always check back, double back. Don't just let things just roll on. Decision making. Knowing your financial position allows you to make informed decisions about investment, borrowing, and spending and how you move. All right, creditworthiness. Lenders often assess your assets and liabilities to determine your creditworthiness, which affects the ability to borrow money and the interest rate you are receiving. So that's what I said. As we're going, you're building these up, you're getting yourself together. So one day your credit worthiness gonna be to the roof, and your APR gonna be low. It's just about planning and doing things ahead of time. I.e., I'm gonna give you an example. When I moved to Georgia, my goal before Georgia, I wanted to buy a house. So while I was in Jersey as a renter, I made sure that I was able with my credit. I paid my bills on time. I didn't get any type of liens against me when it came to a renter. And I had good financial health when I came here. So in the first year, that helped. You see what I'm saying? So you want to plan ahead of time and kind of forecast your future, your needs. Business management. For business, managing assets and liability efficiently is crucial for profitability, growth, and long-term stability. And lastly, investment strategy. You have to have investment strategy. And me being a woman of God, I'm going to tell you, I wake up and pray every day and say, God, what you want me to do today? Kind of like an abstract idea, but it's not just that. You need to have an investment strategy, you have a plan, you have a strategy for your business, a strategy for your household, strategy for everything, even your relationship. People who are in a relationship and they strategize and they're like, hey, this is what we're going to do when we have trouble. This is what we're going to do when we're feeling like this. And they both agree and they work on it. This is a strategy, investment strategy. And I talk like this because I want you guys to understand the importance of diversifying your conversation and using these concepts in different areas of your life. Because if you want to make a great business with these concepts, you can make a great household, you can make a great relationship, you can do community building, and that is the point of what we're doing today. So before we get into our last part of the broadcast, which is going to get into building a business that secure assets for investment, just finish off, here is a word from our sponsors.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.
Blessings, we are back, okay? We're going to start to wrap up this seminar, but this is a very important part. We wanted to put these two concepts together, which is four keys building it's basically, let's rephrase that, 4 keys to building a business that secure assets for investments, okay? So let's get to it. So in today's fast-paced and unpredictable business environment, okay, we're talking about the business environment, not just you in your business. What is the business environment? It is essential to create a business that's not only generating revenue, but also securing assets for investments. Building a profitable and sustainable business is significant achievement, but without a strategic plan for assets accumulation or receiving long-term goal growth and security may create a risk for your business, okay? So in this particular presentation, we will discuss the key steps and best practices for creating businesses that secure assets, okay? Now, this is going to be abstract. Any business owner is going to be able to take these concepts and apply it. We want you guys to remember that these things exist, okay? These are all the things that you want to think about in the back of your head when you're creating your business plan. Okay, let's make sure everything is good. Please hit the like button. I hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday. Please remember we're at the Adams Street Library every Wednesday, okay, at 2 p.m. Now, let's get to it. thing, my service dropped. Um, huh? Okay. So at least some of the things we're going to get to is developing a clear business plan. We're not going to get deep into business plan. We're going to talk about it. Focus on building strong cash reserves. Okay. Diversifying your asset base. Okay. Implementing effective assets management practice. You got to know how to manage your business, your money. Can't just get it and spend it. You got to come up with a budget, a plan. Make sure that your needs is taken care of before your wants. Reinvest profits for long-term growth. You always want to reinvest in the things you need. Equipment, maybe you had it for a while. Your laptop, those are things that I find, especially because I use it a lot. You have to upgrade, make sure they're protected and things like that. Okay. So that is just basically putting your needs before your wants as a business owner. So develop a clear business plan, okay? As well as crafting a business plan is the foundation of any successful enterprise. A lot of people just start businesses and they don't do it. But if you're just starting a business, please put this in your agenda as you start and you put it together. Every day you're doing something different for your business. Do 1-2 pages a day of the business plan. It's going to help you structureize your idea. You're going to start to see your business start idea and concept flourish in front of you. Consider it outlines your company mission, vision, strategies for achieving your financial goal. A comprehensive business plan should include these are some of the things: the description of your product or service, marketing analysts and targeted audience, okay, comprehensive landscapes and comprehensive advantage of your business, organizational structure and management team if that's what you need, and that can be replaced with warehouse equipment needed or storage, that type of stuff. Organized structural needs for your business. Marketing and sales strategy: where you're going to market, how you're going to market, what you're going to spend. It's going to be free. You're going to get out there, boots on the ground. Just have a plan and have it diverse as well. Don't be afraid to try different things. Financial projection, including revenue, expenses, and cash flow. The main thing is to create cash flow. So if it's not working when it comes to your marketing and sales strategy, you want to be diverse, you want to try something new. You want to open up, and because the goal is to have cash flow. Set up some things that may be a slow cash flow. Like, I'm going to give you an example. We have a lot of well, I say slow cash flow because um, when we started putting videos on Eventbrite, it was pretty slow. We have Jeopardy on Eventbrite. So we get sales or we get people attending the free seminars almost daily, signing up, especially. So those are the things that you want to set up for the future so you can create future cash flows. Put your business on automated services if you can, okay? Does that make sense? Focus on building strong cash flow reserve. That is your focus. If it ain't working here, go do different outlets. Like I told you, just take your time, um, one or two at a time, and just keep learning. Cash reserves are the lifeblood of a business. A loan is not, a grant is not. That is just a stimulus, okay? They provide a financial cushion as far as the cash reserve during collecting times, enable you to achieve growth opportunities and help secure assets for investing, okay? And that's something that you need as well when you're going for a loan. Not only the longevity of your business, depending on what type of loan you're going for, what support you're going for, not only credit worthiness, but as well as some type of revenue coming in. But all loans don't require you to have a lot of revenue, but that's something you need to consider. You want to prioritize your profitability, ensuring your business grants sufficient profits to cover operational expenses and reinvest. Now, that says a lot because our economy is on inflation. So sometimes people are charging too much or they're charging just too little and not getting too much back. You got to find a balance and also be diverse with your vendors, okay? Because there's some that's like, hey, we can hook you up. There's some like, well, it's inflation. So you want to be diverse with your relationships and consider what's the assets of a liability. Liability don't always mean that the person is just bad. It just costs more to deal with them. Does that make sense? Managing working capital efficiently. Manage your working capital efficiently. When you get a lot of money, things coming in, make sure you manage your property, especially as a business owner, because we could get a lot of cash flow today and then none for the next couple of months. So you want to be sure that you got to be aware, optimizing inventory levels, That is like as you buying stuff for your distribution, you may want to buy a little extra so you can have some things on hand, especially if you're at home, you just have a small storage unit, and then you want to continue to sell things. So you want to have things that sell on your website or the things that's readily needed to keep you going. Does that make sense? You want to make sure that everything is flowing right with your business, and that include payment terms, collection, and maintaining healthy cash flow in relationships. So with that goes to say, you want to make sure your product is going out. You don't get like drawbacks. Those people who distribute stuff. That's the same thing with people who sell online courses. Make sure that your on demand is available. That people are not asking for their money back. Make sure that your terms is well termed, put out there, that they understand how to get the information. That's some of the things that I went through in the beginning of my course. They're like, hey, I never got the link. And I didn't clearly put out, hey, all you got to do is just look right here. These are the videos, certain things like that. So be aware that you're managing the flow of your inventory and everything, the business correctly, and that's going to keep your cash flow going. Implement cost-saving measures, regularly review expenses, and identify opportunity for cost reductions without compromising quality or services. You want to have a diverse portfolio of suppliers, or like I said, with me, I had diverse platforms, so I know I could probably go here and get this done at a better price, or this right here. You guys, hey, maybe this manufacturer has cotton tees that cost more or cost less, but it's closer. Maybe I can use this when I'm in a rush. Maybe I use this when I'm not. Oh, maybe this person sells this, or maybe I can sell some of my products at this place fast. Okay, be aware of some of the things. Implementing cost saving measures as well. Sometimes you have a lot of inventory. I was just talking to someone who hit me up out of the blue from one of the pop-up shows, and she thought I was the one who held the pop-up show, but maybe it was God, because she was saying, hey, I wanted to sign up for your next pop-up. I'm like, well, I don't have pop-up shows. I kind of just, we probably met. She's like, where do you think I can sell some stuff real quick? And I was like, oh, I just ran into a flea market in my area. Maybe you want to call and see, can you sign up? That place be bumping. And if you like good with that environment, and she called $40, she's getting some things off. She want to get rid of it. So be diverse. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes that can help you. That don't have to be a to go, but it can be something to go. Does that make sense? Set aside funds for emergencies. Establish a reserve fund to cover unfortunate expenses and revenue shortfalls. A general rule of thumb is to maintain enough cash to cover at least 3 to 6 months worth of operating expense. I know that's hard to hear, but the goal is to try. At least if you want to do 60 days. Let's get over the 30-day thing where they say, hey, all Americans, we can't live past 30 days without income. Let's get there first as business owners and Americans, okay? So at least try, and that's just going to start with putting little bit by little bit away and not accessing that account unless you actually need it. Gotta have some discipline, guys, especially in this time. Okay, in this time, even if you gotta buy money orders, put it in an envelope, lick it dry, put it under your bed like a Haitian, and you feel judged when you try to break it open. That's gonna help you save some money. Okay, we talked about that, the envelope method. Okay, whatever you need to do it. Diversify your asset base. Again, we're going to go into real estate, equipment, intellectual property. Those are things that we mentioned in the first PowerPoint, and securities. I don't think I need to revisit that again. But again, I want you to keep that in mind. You don't only need that for yourself. And again, retirement accounts. Because it's hard for us to retire as business owners because we're not really thinking about that until we get really big. But if you're just going to have a one-man band, a few piece band, you want to figure out how to do that because you don't want to have to work forever. Okay? We say thank you for being here with us today. I appreciate you attending our seminar in person or in line or online. I do apologize. So implementing effective asset management practices. Practice make perfect. We have to do that. We can't talk about it. We got to do it. We got to be about it, guys. Do the envelope method. Once you have acquired assets, it's essential to manage them effectively to maximize their value and minimize risk. Implementing the following best practices for asset management. Okay, this is applied knowledge, y'all. Let's go. Conduct regular audits. Don't let things build up on you. Okay, organize your stuff, get it together. Periodically review your assets to ensure They are properly maintained, insured, and being used effectively, okay? And that's what you want to do for your business. Make sure that the process is effective, that it's working good for your product, your brand, and what you need to get done. hmm Establish clear policies and procedures. Develop guidelines to foster acquisition, okay? Disposals and maintain maintenance to ensure consistency and accountability. What does that mean? You want to have policies. You got to create your own policies and follow them. Have a guideline, procedures that you do. I get this amount of orders. I have to do this amount of things to get these orders out. What is the procedures? And then as you do a procedure, you can bring your what did we say? Your apprentice, because we always want to be having somebody that we are what we're doing, mentoring as well. Our young people like, come on, this is how I do it. Could you help me put these shirts in the bag? Could you help me get these boxes out? This is how I do it. You want to learn how to use the stamp process? Pay your little fee. You see what I'm saying? So you have a process for yourself, so you can granddad or grandfather that into your first employee or someone that's helping you. Okay. You want to leverage technology, use asset management software to track and monitor your assets, automate process, and generate reports. Very important. And as we talk about mailing out things, you want to track that, make sure everything get out. You want to make sure that your income is tracked, the money that's coming in properly every month. If you have a folder, you can put where your money's coming from. If you're online, I know some real estate people who actually have YouTube pages just like me, but they're actually realtors, and then they sell their property, and then people watch their videos, and it's another way to generate income. So that's part of it as well. Okay, so leveraging technology. Does that make sense? If you have a craft that you can teach someone that you think is needed or teach your community, go ahead and put it out there. There may be a platform just for you. Okay? Maintain adequate insurance company coverage. Protect your assets from theft, damage, loss, and carry appropriate insurance policies. I know that's not the first thing that people think about, but that's something that we have to consider too. Whole life insurance, whole life, not just insurance to cover cars and houses. Type of insurance that's going to help you build assets and generational wealth and things that you can borrow from. Whole life insurance, and with partial life insurance, well, whole life, partial life, right? And the partial life is not whole life. It don't work like you can use it like a bank and things, but something happened to you, your property can be paid off. Know the importance of insurance, having small insurance policies. It's going to be good for you to do it. You start early. It actually help you in the long run and your family. If anything was to happen, that is an asset. We don't do a lot of that insurance stuff, so we got to learn about that, okay? So reinvest profits for long-term growth. That's like I said, the whole life insurance, guys. Gotta do it. So to secure assets for investment, okay, it is essential to reinvest profit back into the business. This strategy not only strengthens your asset base, but also fuel long-term growth and comprehensiveness and competitiveness. Let's correct that. Why do I have to say that? Because when you make a lot of money, can't go on vacation, guys. Take that and seed it back into your business. Hold it. Create a savings. Maybe create a marketing plan with it. Use it effectively. Have a little bit of fun, but just make sure that you are budgeting correctly. That's why I had to say that. Put it back into your business, please. Okay? Research and development. Take that money and invest in some research and development or something you found from your research and development. Allocating funds for innovationness, product development, process improvement to stay ahead of competition. If you're someone that's actually designing clothes, I bring that up a lot because my children into designing. My daughter is into graphic designing, and she has a project she's working on, and she's contacting different manufacturers. She's really researching, being an innovative, thinking about the material, what it's going to cost, how it's going to get here to ship, how to launch it, to get a little bit of funds, but make sure you have some product. It's a lot, a lot to think of, but if you do it daily and you actually do it, in 30 days, you'll be happy with what you actually come up with. You'll be like, I'm smart. I can't believe I did all of this. You do it bit by bit, okay? Marketing and advertising. Increase your marketing budget to expand your customer base entering new markets, or launching new products. So there are relationships that you can have that you can utilize, radio station that you can market on, as well as you can use AI. They have a few AI on demand things that makes it easy for us as business owners just to put little shorts together and things and budgets to actually run competitive ads. Because if you're doing it the basic Google way, which I have learned, it's a little bit complicated, and I have learned the way through AI. They have some where it's like, oh, okay, so I don't have to come up with my own most effective line that's under 200 words, and you got to say the stuff that's right, because you can't misrepresent your ads because it won't be approved. So you want to go be innovative and use the most effective approach, okay? So that is always researching and looking for ways and learning. Us, we're a little older. I know AI is like, ugh, ugh, but we got it, okay? Training and development, again, I'm always talking about education, infrastructures and facilities. We're going to get into that, upgrading your infrastructure, equipment, facilities, improving efficiency, productivity, capacity. That's keeping your computers running. That's keeping your graphic design, your products good. That's making sure that you have the machinery that you need to make whatever your product is or to deliver your service. Let's say you invest in tractor trailers, okay? You want to make sure that you get a working tractor trailer. Don't just go for the one that's the cheapest. You want to do your research, market research, make sure you get the best bang for your buck. Those type of things. Make sure that the equipment is right. So you want to keep that in mind when you talk about the infrastructure as well, the things you need. Okay, now we're coming to the end. We're coming to our last slide. I want to say thank you guys for being with us. I think we started a little bit early, so God be the glory. I hope that this is about an hour or so, because that's where we keep it at. But we're getting to our last slide. Thank you for being here with Lady Lashley. It's an honor for me to do this and give back to the community. So the conclusion of what we're talking about in this particular PowerPoint is to remember, creating a business that secure assets for investment requires a strategic and proactive approach. You got to keep going. You got to get up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Just do it. It's going to be well worth it, okay? You always got to feel good to get things done. By developing a clear business plan, okay, it's going to help you structure an actual proactive approach. Business plan is very important. Focusing on building strong cash reserves again. Understanding that important, making sure your product is going out on time. How does that do it? How does that happen? You had a busined plan, you had a structurized way you're gonna get your inventory out. You know, sometimes you gotta wait to launch, or you just gotta make sure that you have things set up to launch it properly. Diversify your asset base, and that's what we're gonna get in next week. You want to have assets, land, money, portfolios for your business, not just yourself, okay? Implement effective asset management practices. Recheck, guys, okay? Reinvest profits for long-term growth. You don't always have to do short-term, like, okay, I made a lot of money, I'm just gonna buy a lot of product and then it's gonna sell. Wait, maybe I made a good amount of money. You guys should invest in some bonds, secure a bond for our business, just in case. You know what I'm saying? Those things, what would be a long-term profitability for your business. And lastly, but not least, you can build a resilient and prosperous entrepreneurship enterprise that thrives in any economy and climate if you do your due diligence. Put on the work. Don't expect that the work is just going to happen. Take your time. Keep your brain going. Don't always depend on AI. There's a lot of changes. The most important thing that we can re-highlight at the end of this seminar is that our current economic, environmental, how can I say, environment has changed. So it may affect your business. It may not do it now, but how would it affect it later? So you want to know, you want to have a backup plan. What I'm going to do if I have to slow down right here? What I'm going to do if I have to move forward right here? So be innovative. Always research. As you research, create your business plan, enhance your business plan. Take it little by day. And I promise you, in 30 days, you'll have such a comprehensive business plan, especially if you keep some of these concepts in mind. And you just do it day by day, okay? 2 pages at a day, 1 page a day. Let AI help you write it if that's what you need, just say a bit about that, and then you're going to be able to use all of that to have to basically have a strategic plan for your business development as community leaders. So I think that's all we have for today. Next week, we're going to follow up with a little bit more information about alternative real estate because assets, one of the things I've been creeping in here is real estate. And as business owners, we sometimes need some type of real estate. So we're going to talk about that from different perspectives, how to acquire it, and also how to leverage it. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for being here with Lady Lashley as we continue to be here for the next couple of weeks in an Adams Street Library at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, hosting our economic development summit.